Hey everybody, Nadia Kim here with our first video for the Ask a Healer series. I'm so happy that you could join me today, and I just want you to know that these videos are timeless. You know, whenever you're like looking through my channel and you're looking for a video to watch, just take a moment and close your eyes and just kind of feel into whatever messages you feel like the universe needs to deliver to you that day, and then see which of the videos you're actually pulled to. This will actually be in a playlist called Ask a Healer, so I'm going to make it easy for you guys to be able to access it the same way that I will have my subliminals in a playlist, as well as I have my hypnosis audios in a playlist as well. So with that, let's get started. So today I felt called to talk about the topic of the power of gratitude. So I know that this is a topic that has been talked about widely. Everybody's always saying you need to be grateful, but why, right? And then many people will tell you why. So here's what I have found. Whenever you're going through any kind of situation in your life where you are feeling impatient and you're feeling like whatever it is that you're wanting to happen just isn't, what happens is that we have a tendency to focus on the evidence of things not happening. And unfortunately, the more we keep focusing on that, the more it seems like things just aren't happening. And it's like, well, why the hell is that? And why does it feel like that? And, you know, some will say it's law of attraction, because what energy you're putting out is the energy you're attracting back to you. But it's also more than that, because it's also the law of assumption. What you assume to be true is what is going to be your experience. If you keep assuming that something's not going to happen because you're not seeing the evidence of it, it's not going to happen. You're just going to prolong it. It may happen eventually, because eventually you just get tired of thinking about it. And the moment that you get tired of thinking about it, things just seem to change. And then one day, bam, it's there. So here's what I have found to be true. And this is difficult. And sometimes we have to go through a process where we have to purge out our disappointment in order to get to this place. And that's okay. What you have to understand is this journey, it's like Groundhog Day. Every day you wake up, and it's like you're reliving the same day, only you get an opportunity to do things differently. So if you are trying to, you want something specific in your life, and you just find yourself just feeling so downtrodden, I'm gonna give you two scenarios for managing this. One is to keep you from getting to that point where you're downtrodden. The other one is if it's too late and you're there. Okay, we've all had those days. We all have like things in our life that seem to take longer. And it can be so frustrating. Trust me, I know. I feel like that in my romance life. But anyway, the important thing is that if we get there, you need to acknowledge your feelings. You need to see them. Say, I see you. What are your fears? What are my fears? What thoughts do I have that make me afraid that I'm not going to get this because it hasn't happened yet? And that's a really important step. Because once you are able to kind of experience the worst case scenario by writing that out, and I highly encourage journaling this or talking about it. The key is that you don't do it in your head. It's really important that you do it on paper. And you're asking at this point, like, how does that connect back to gratitude? Well, it's kind of hard to be grateful for something when you're in the midst of emotional upheaval, right? I mean, I think it's an unreasonable request for anybody to tell you to be grateful when you're in your feels. You need to be able to have that time in your feels. But it's also really important that you put a time limit on that, okay? You don't want to sit and wallow like a pig in mud in that despair, in those feelings of it's not going to happen, dejection, whatever. But you want to acknowledge it. You want to get it out so that you can purge it and then allow yourself to grieve for that worst case scenario. And then once you do, then what you're going to do is you're going to have to shift into gratitude. So you can start once you've purged by just writing a list of all the things in your life that you are grateful for. And that might be day one after this purge. And then the next day, think about positives to whatever it is that you're trying to manifest that hasn't happened yet. Think about positives to why it not manifesting yet are good. And sometimes this can be difficult, but baby step it. So it can be like little things. It could be like, well, it's a rainy day. And if I have to, if it was to manifest, it would mean I'd have to go out in the rain. Just try to find little things that are positive about it taking a longer time that you can kind of hold on to. This is really important because having that gratitude for it, I look at the lessons. Like once I've come through and I've purged out emotions about a situation not being the way I wanted it to, I find positives as far as like lessons I learned. Like I try to, if you can like do this visualization where you kind of like see your problems as like this tiny little dot on a paper and then like zoom out your perspective. This is all about a perspective shift to see a bigger picture. See all the details now, get a bigger look at all the different parts that are playing in. One of my go-tos for anyone who has any kind of belief in a higher power or anything is saying, you know what, there are things in the background or the etheric realm outside of my vision. There are things that we cannot see. That is a fact. And so maybe it not happening yet was because of something I couldn't see. So I'll say that. And then what I do is then I say, I'm really grateful for that because I'm being protected. So I find gratitude in being protected by that higher source, I call it the universe, from maybe something not being so good. Maybe, and then this is an opportunity for you to think about other affirmations that you have told yourself. Like for me, I've made a point where I'm like, when I manifest, I'm manifesting things that are for my highest and best good in a way that is best for me, right? I deserve the best. I only deserve the best. So when you make statements like that, and then you're going this long period where what you want just doesn't seem to be happening, it's fair to say that you probably have other affirmations that are contributing to the duration, but it's for your benefit. So finding a way to see it and having gratitude as it's the time it's taking is benefiting you, as opposed to, this thing where you feel like it's never going to happen. Though if you assume it's never going to happen, like I said, you're going to prolong it. So gratitude around you being protected and that things are going to happen in the best way for you is one of the best ways you can kind of shift your perspective no matter what you're going through. There could have been delays, and so you were protected from a pain and suffering experience, or maybe it would have cost you money where you didn't have to spend the money. Maybe it would have cost you heartache and pain first because of if it's something to do with a relationship or dating, maybe because they're not ready. And you've been protected from that. So I know that part of the problem that many of us humans struggle with is this element of time. So it's also looking at, like I just said, that this idea of, maybe shifting your perspective to every day is the only day that exists. So the day you wake up, the past is gone. It's a memory. And do you know what happens with our memories? The detailed events of what occurred begin to dissipate. We start losing information even as quick as after the event has taken place. So how do you know what was really real and not? Which means why focus on the past? Just stay in the present moment. In the future, that's just going to create anxiety and worry because you don't have control over it. You're just worrying and allowing worry to steal your joy because of the fear of the unknown. Because what? Because you think you're not going to get it. And that is, again, it's assuming that you can't have it. But no, you are the universe experiencing itself. And because you're the universe experiencing itself, you get to have everything you want. And that's another shift in your perspective that is going to contribute to helping you go back to that place of gratitude. So if you know you're going to get everything you want, then thank you, universe. So that is all what's happening when you get to that downtrodden point, okay? Now, how do you keep yourself from going there? Faith and trust in what you're creating. It's taking some of those same perspective shifts that I have talked about and using them on the front end. Don't make assumptions you're not going to get it. Make assumptions that that you get it. It's yours. It is yours. And here's what I want to pose to you, okay? Sure. You can have whatever thoughts you want. But have you ever thought about why you would choose to focus on a negative instead of a positive when the negative doesn't feel good? Do you want to bring yourself pain and suffering, or do you want to have a good, fulfilling life? And this is a very basic question you have to ask yourself. This is really important. And the other piece to that is understanding that quantum mechanics is proven. We live in a world of infinite possibilities, of infinite realities. So if we live in a world of infinite possibilities, then you focusing on that one negative one when there's like a whole world of other infinite possibilities, what are you doing to yourself? Take that moment to say, why would I treat myself like that? And really it might come down to this idea of how much do I really love myself? What do I feel I am worthy and deserving to have? And then, you know what? Then you can also shift into gratitude about what this experiencing is showing you is in you that maybe are areas you need to work on to improve your mindset about things. So those are the two scenarios. It always comes down to gratitude. You thank the universe because it's coming and you know it's coming in divine timing. You thank the universe because it's probably protecting you from something bad that is taking a little bit. You recognize that time doesn't exist. And since we're just reliving the same day over, one of my favorite consciousness perspectives is to say, you know what? I know I get everything I want. So in the meantime, I'm just going to float down this river of desires fulfilled and recognize that in each and every day, desires are coming true, and use that as an example and evidence that you can have the other thing you want. Nothing is unattainable. It's just some things are going to take time. The more specific you are, the more time it may require. And time really doesn't exist outside of this world. It's a man-made construct, but we see it. It is in our purview in the third dimension of what we're experiencing, really third and fourth. But the thing is that if you just, find the gratitude that, hey, today, here's all the desires I had that were fulfilled. That would be a great gratitude list. Every day, think about desires that you've had in the past that came true that day. Think about desires you had that day that came true that day. I don't care if it's something mediocre, something as easy as you ordered Starbucks and it came. Did they get your order right? Think about people who don't have enough money to afford Starbucks, And it's not to say that your suffering and your experience should be minimalized because there's people who can't, okay? Because that's not fair. And I can't stand when people do that, when they want to say, I don't know why you're sad when there's people so-and-so and they're starving. We all are here experiencing different things. And yeah, that's fucking horrible. But what you're experiencing should not be minimized either. So what I'm doing at the end of these Ask a Healer videos is I've pulled an oracle card to get some additional universal guidance for that particular video and that topic. And so today what we have is radical expansion. And so what it says is living and loving at full capacity, being unapologetically you, self-expression, boldness, having a voice, taking up space, expansion, empowerment, owning your true power. What is it? Owning your true power. That's the gratitude part. It's knowing. It's not making assumptions that you can't have something. It's knowing it's yours. That's really what expressing yourself, what expanding beyond a limiting belief and owning your true power really looks like. And you know what it says is what would it be like to live, love, and feel at full capacity? Do you imagine what it would be like? This card is about being truly and unapologetically you. So we don't let other people tell us we can't have something. We reject that reality. There's infinite realities. I'm going to somehow, some way align myself to the reality that I get what I want. How am I going to do it? Well, for one, I'm not going to focus on lack and the fact that I don't have it. Because when you do that, the universe says, okay, I match your frequency. I give you more of nothing, right? You can't make something from nothing. Here we go about self-worth and value. Do you feel you have the right to take up space? So this card is telling you it's time to expand. You have a big energy, so illuminate it, unleash it, be unapologetically you, and know and trust that you get to have everything you want. But gratitude will be the way to get to it. So that's all the time we have for today, guys. Thank you for joining me. Remember to like and subscribe. And if you have a dilemma or something you're going through, be sure to post it in the comments. And you might be one of the lucky people that I make a video talking about that particular problem and offering some spiritual guidance. All right. Well, until next time, namaste.